Okay, so you're dreaming of this change you want to make, and as usual, you get out of bed at some point, about 6:30 in the morning. You go over to the stables, you feed the horses. Um, Nice horses, they love you, they're so happy to see you. You feed them, and then you go back and you go and make coffee, and you stand exactly in the same place that you stood yesterday, and you make coffee exactly the same way you made coffee yesterday and the week before and the year before, and it tastes the same and it looks the same. All of a sudden you have this thing that something must change. This is your last call to your adventure gate. And if it doesn't change, you will die. Just as simple as that. Well, you might exist, but you won't really live. Anyhow, that's how it begins. So, you take your coffee, you sit in front of the computer screen, and you start looking for a ticket to buy. A ticket on some airway company, a flight to a place. And as soon as you type in the word ticket, flight, or anything, you get bombed by so many options. It's just you go down that rabbit hole and you have absolutely no idea what the heck is going on. You have different schemes, different prices, different airways. You have different routes, different stopovers, everything, so much information. How do you deal with all of that information? So, the first thing I did was I switched it all off, and I just closed my eyes, took a deep breath, and asked myself, where do I want to go? Okay, I know I want to leave, but where am I going? Can I just, will I just put my finger on a point in the globe and say, okay, that is my destination? There are some people who do it that way, but I'm not that kind of person. I need to know where I'm going, where I'm landing, who I'm meeting, which hotel I'm going to be sleeping in, and all the rest of that. Anyhow, so I started looking for options. What do I really love doing? Well, I love hiking. I love walking with my feet on the ground. I love watching views from the tops of hills. And I love being next to streams and rivers, and I love swimming in them. And if there's nobody around, I love swimming in them au naturel, as we say. So I said, which is the one of the closest, nicest trail hike I can find? You know, that I don't have to travel by air many hours. And I remembered that many people on YouTube talk about how beautiful Turkey is. So I decided, okay, I'm going to look for the most attractive trail in Turkey. And that's how I found the Lycian Way. The Lycian Way is an old, I don't know how to call it, an old way, It's an old path, road, track that is really from a very, very long time ago. I mean, it's a, a few thousand years old, and it's all along the Mediterranean coast of Turkey, which basically is from Antalya on one side and Fethiye, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, on the other side. And it's about 550 kilometers long. So it's very long. And it's a big feat for someone who, has just traveled 1 day trips in my little country that you can do in a couple of hours. You can go from one side to the other side, more or less. And so I started reading about it. And I got a wonderful book, which I'll tell you all about in a second. And that's how I decided where my first destination is going to be. Since I want to get to Europe, I decided I'm going to do this trek from the east to the west, because in my logic, I want to get as close to the west as possible and then fly as little as possible from the closest point in Turkey to the closest point in Western Europe, where I can get some kind of a camper van. So that's what I did. I just got this book online, started reading it, and at the same time, I bought a ticket. I don't know if I should explain to people who are new at this about how you should make decisions which ticket to buy. If you should get a low cost ticket and take your chances, because it is a thing that you never know how it's going to end, the low cost. Or you should fly on a regular airline and pay, well, it seems as if it's a lot more, but actually in the end it's not very much more, and it's much more secure. It's you can be sure you'll get to the destination, the aircraft will leave on time, you won't have to wait in different airports along the way. It won't take you 12 hours, it will take you only 6 hours. So there are pros and cons to the different kinds of flights you can get. But the most important thing is to make that move, to click on the button, buy a ticket, and get the ticket, and have a date, and know that on this date you've got to be ready to leave the country. So usually I would recommend to get a date that's not too close, so that you have enough time to organize all your affairs. You're leaving a country and you don't know when you're gonna come back, so it's a lot of organizing. You have to get rid of a lot of shit, a lot of stuff. And I'm gonna go into that in a different video. But once you have that ticket, that's it, you have a deadline. And now you're in a stage where you're working towards this deadline. And you have to really do it in an orderly fashion, so that you make the most of the time that you have left. And it's as if you're going to die. You're not going to die. No, just the time you have left before you get on that flight. What you're taking, how you're taking, and remember, I was beginning this journey with a trek, a bloody difficult trek. So I really, and when you go on a trek, you're taking everything on your back, everything that you're going to need for the next 3 weeks. So you really have to know what you're taking with you and what you're sending somewhere, and you get it when you get to a certain point. So it's a lot of things to think about. I'm going to finish now. I probably won't put this video online because it's kind of off the top of my head what I'm talking about. But maybe I will put it on and you'll just listen and think about all kinds of things that I also thought about. Anyhow, so I'll see you later. Bye for now.